And if I'm not audible to everyone, then possibly it's an issue from your connection or there is some problem with your system. Okay. Otherwise, I'm audible to majority of the people. Cool. So last class, we pretty much finished the important parts of Python, which you need to know. Obviously, there are so many topics that I skipped and that you are supposed to learn yourself because that's not possible to cover everything in this course. For example, object-oriented programming or per se, even like importing modules or how you will use multi-threading and stuff. So I didn't cover all those advanced topics. You can definitely explore those in your free time, right? But today we'll move forward and I'll tap into data science part. Okay. There are a few things that I asked you guys to install. Okay. One is definitely I said everyone either get PyCharm or something might help, though not mandatory, but having some sort of editor actually helps. Okay. It will help you practice everything that I taught. Okay. It will help you practice everything I taught locally. So that's what it will help you on. Okay. Now, VS Code is fine, but with VS Code, the problem is you have to create a virtual environment yourself. Okay. I'll be switching on to screen. Hence, I'll be turning off my webcam to show my face because it's just easier actually to share multiple screens that way. Otherwise, it hides my view. Okay. Um, I'll just quickly walk you through what you need to do. Okay. Um, I won't discuss assignment right now. I need to complete the topic that is in hand. I'll at the end of this class, I'll give you ample of time to ask me questions. Okay, guys. Up until then, have some patience. Okay. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. So my screen is visible to all of you. Um, yes, no, yes, no. Anyone is having any questions, just wait for the time and I'll ask for questions. I'll not take up any questions. I want to move fast. Okay. For majority of the people, it seems like my screen is visible. If for anyone it is not visible, check your connection, why it's not visible, or reset. I don't know, like try other things, but it should be visible. Okay. So I don't understand Telugu. Sorry for that. So you need to check on some other stuffs. Okay. Wait a minute. I just stopped sharing my screen. It should be visible now. Okay. My screen is visible to everyone, I believe. Okay. And I request all of you, please stop asking random questions. I already told you I'll take questions at the end of it. So no need to ask any questions because I won't answer it for now, because let me complete what I'm teaching. Okay. Okay, guys. So I said it would be nice if you could install this Anaconda and all. If you can't, I'll just give you a walkthrough what you need to do, but I'll rush onto it because I don't have time. Also, it is not possible for me to resolve every one system issue given the setup it is. Okay, it is highly possible to actually go into everyone's system and make you guys install any of these tools that I'm stating, but I'll tell you how you are supposed to install it. Okay. By the end of it, by the end of the class, I'll share some resources. Maybe that might help, but completely depends. I think you can refer yourself or Google if you are stuck on a problem. Okay. You have to go into this website, docs.anaconda.com. Okay. And from there, you need to install Miniconda. Okay. You can install Anaconda itself, okay, directly, but don't do it because Anaconda comes with like 1500 pre-installed packages, okay, and it takes 3 GB of space. So if your system is not efficient enough, it's like an overkill. Also, it is highly possible that you might not be using most of those packages. Okay, it's okay if you want to install it and basically never look back, but ideally Miniconda should work, and this is what we'll be using. Okay, this is what we'll be using. Now, for example, all you have to do is, if you are on Windows, you can select this latest version, download it, okay, and run the installer. If you are on Mac OS, you can again download it, run the installer. I'll share a README on certain stuff, but you can do it as easily. Okay, I'll only add some important stuff on the README, but you need to remember this. You go in this web page, you'll see these three distribution. You can just download it and install it. Okay. For Mac OS, it's very simple. You just install the package and it should work out of the box, but you have to give it some user permission. Okay. You have to give it some user permission. And what are those user permission? Okay. I'll also give this on the README file that I'll share today. But just to show you, okay, we were on Replit, right? Let's just go here. Let me show you. Anyone having a Mac, you need to actually run this after installation. Okay, so this will give permission to run conda commands. Okay, for Windows, it won't work out of the box, and when the installation happens, it won't be directly onto your path. But what you need to do is you need to click on start icon. Okay, I'll again write this here. You need to click on. You need to click on start icon. Okay, and then in there you need to search Anaconda prompt. When you click that, okay, when you click that and open, it will open up Conda prompt. And you have to work from there. Okay, and you have to work from there. That's about it. That is what you need to do. All good? That's how you need to install. Now, some of the commands that I use right now, I'll be sharing it with you. Okay. Some of the commands that I basically use right now, I'll be sharing it with you. Some of the commands you need to Google up. I won't be sharing with you. Okay. Let me open up the setup. So what you can do, okay. Let me open up the setup. Documents. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. Um, Done. My screen is visible again to everyone. I hope it should be visible. Okay. So I am just using VS Code. Okay, I'm just using VS Code. You don't really need VS Code because we won't be working on it. I asked you to install PyCharm or VS Code just for the sake of what we were doing before. Right now, for the most part, we'll be using Jupyter. Okay, and I'll be showing you what we'll be doing. Okay, so I'll be showing you what we'll be doing. So just to, okay. For example, Honda. So I have already installed Anaconda, the mini Conda thing that I already that I showed you. So what you need to do in here, okay? Deactivate. Let's deactivate it here. Okay, cool. So first command. After you are done with your installation of Conda, okay, after your, let me increase the size of the screen so that it's more visible. One minute. I hope this is visible to everyone. I hope this is visible to everyone. Okay. So you need to run. This is visible what I'm writing, right? It's visible what I'm writing. Guys. Yes. Okay. So you need to type conda. Okay. Then you say create. Okay. Then you will say prefix dot slash env. Okay. And then the libraries that you want to install as such. Okay. These are the libraries that I want to install. For example, pandas, numpy, matplotlib, scikit-learn. And I'll click on enter. And what this should do, that this should actually start installing all of these libraries for me. Okay. It's very straightforward. There's nothing confusing in it. All we are doing, because we are using mini conda, it does not come up with everything installed. That's why we are actually using this. Okay. Now it says to activate this environment, because we created a new environment, right? To activate this environment, we need to run this. Okay. Before running this, let's just see what type of environments do we have. So we type conda list. And when we type conda, okay, not list. When we type conda env list, okay, then it shows, okay, we have these two environments in here. So we have this base and we have this one, which is like somewhat like sample project or something. And this is where we need to write a code. Right now we are outside of this environment, right? This is what it says, like it says here system. There will be some sort of marker in your system. For example, in Windows Anaconda prompt, it shows at the beginning, okay, in which environment you are. You need to switch from base to the environment that you are creating or you have created. For example, we created this environment and we got this code, right, to activate. This is the path. This is the path, right? So conda activate and this exact same path, right? To activate this particular environment, and we click on it. Okay. As soon as you click on it, you would notice earlier I was getting something called a system in here. Now I am not getting it. And this environment is not like named or something. Henceforth, it's empty. Okay. Now let's try to launch Jupyter Notebook. And voila, we don't have Jupyter Notebook, right? So we need to install it. I could have installed it at the time of setting up environment itself, but I wanted to show you guys how you can install new packages as and when you need it. Okay, so what you can do, you can use Conda, type install and say Jupyter. Okay, and this way you should be able to install, okay, Jupyter. So let's wait while it's installing. Okay. Let's wait while it's installing. Okay, it's done. So now let's type Jupyter Notebook. As you see, okay, I have this whole terminal setup where it turns green and red and so on and so forth. Okay. Pranav, the reason for this process is to learn data science. I'm sorry you joined late, but you can you can watch recorded session. Okay. I'm sorry for that. I won't repeat it because we are low on time. You should join on time. You are joining 20 minutes late. Okay. Sai others, no, no, you need to basically use rattlesnake, not anaconda. What did I show, man? This whole process I am using anaconda. I'm just using minified version of it, which is miniconda. That's what I said. Okay. And I keep on saying, don't ask me questions in between. Let me complete it because I want to complete pandas, or else I'm telling you upfront, we won't be able to complete the course. Okay. So let me complete pandas topic today. And then at the end of this class, I'll give you a window where you can ask me questions. Anyone who is dying for attendance can actually leave, or if not, they can stay. I don't care. And I won't repeat what is the topic of today because you guys should join on time. Okay? Period. Or else ask your friends. Okay. When you type Jupyter Notebook, basically what it will do, it will open a Jupyter Notebook. Now it has already opened it in my browser. Let me switch the screen and I'll show you how it looks like. Okay. Let me show you how it looks like. Hmm. Give me 1 minute, guys. Okay. Okay, let me switch the screen so that I can show you guys. Cool. My screen is visible to everyone. Let me try to minify it so that it's visible enough. I'll also increase a bit of size. So my screen is visible to everyone, guys. Okay. So the smallest one is this ENV. Everyone is able to read this ENV. Everyone is able to determine this is ENV. Yes. Okay. Cool. Cool. So when you click on Jupyter Notebook, okay, when you click on Jupyter Notebook, you will basically see that you are getting this sort of UI. Okay. Now there are multiple things that you can do here. There are multiple things that you can do here. But let's try to first do some things that we will be using. For example, okay, let's try to upload some files. Let's try to upload some files that we will be using. Okay. Um, I'll try to upload some of the files. Okay. So for example, this one, and I want this one. Okay, I don't want this one. And I want this one, and I want this one. Okay, cool. I will be sharing you all these datas. Why it's not uploading? Maybe I need to upload one by one. Okay, maybe I'm missing something. That's why I'm not able to upload it. But what you can do, you can actually move to the same sample project folder itself. Okay, so I'll just move it manually, and you should be able to see it here. Let me just copy it, and you will be able to see it. Copy and then paste. Let's try to refresh it. Right, you're able to see it right now. Okay. I did nothing actually. I just moved it manually. I think the part that I'm missing in here, that it also needs file reader package that I have not installed. That's why it's not uploading. Otherwise, it should have worked technically. Okay. But either way, you can just move whatever data that you need directly to the root of your project. And then you will be able to access these. Okay. These are the files that I'll be sharing with you guys. Okay. These are the files that I'll be sharing with you guys. So don't worry about it. Okay. There are two more files that I need, which also I'll bring in here. And okay. So these are the files I'll be sharing with you guys today. After the class, you will get it after some time. Okay. Now, for example, obviously we have this, there are several options. Okay. In here, when you go to running, you can see what kernels you are running and so on and so forth, terminal and whatever. For now, what is important for us is this notebook. Okay. You can create different types of file, but for us, it is important. The important stuff is notebook. We want to create a Jupyter notebook. Okay. So hence, we start by creating a new notebook. Okay. After you create this new notebook, okay, it will give you an option what type of kernel you want to use. Obviously, I want to use Python 3. That's what we learned up until now, right? So we select Python 3. Now this is named as untitled. I can just simply go here and rename it. For example, let's just rename it. We'll start working with our heart disease data. So for now, let's just rename it to heart disease. Okay. And we rename it to heart disease. Okay. Now, you remember we installed a package named as pandas, right? So let's try to import pandas as PD. Okay. That's the first cell. Now, in this whole process, what we'll be doing is try to use keyboard as much as possible without touching this UI. So what I'll do, once I type this, I'll press shift and I'll press enter and boom. Okay. I press shift and I press enter and then it will go to next cell. Okay. These are called cells. Okay. This is cell number 1, cell number 2, so on and so forth. Okay. For example, if I am here, this is basically edit mode. If I want to get out of edit mode, I can press escape. Okay. I can press escape. All of this is available in Jupyter's documentation. Okay. I'll give you some important useful ones that is being used here on the README file that I'll share today. Okay. But it's highly recommended that you guys go to Jupyter's documentation. Okay. Now you see this blue icon in here, which is around here. There is a blue icon. Okay. This blue icon, okay, that you see here, this means that this is the cell that you are right now, you have selected. If you press D do 2 times, if you press D for dog 2 times, that cell would be deleted and you will be shifted to previous cell. Okay. Now, if you want to actually create a new cell, okay, without actually running the first cell again, that is without doing a shift enter, because you already ran that cell. Hence, it is already there. Okay. What you need to do is you need to click on letter B for ball. So B means bottom, and if you click A means upwards. Okay. For example, it created a cell above the cell that we were on. Then again, if we click double D, it will be removed. Okay. Okay, guys. So it's pretty easy. It's pretty easy. Then if you click on enter, you should be able to go into insert mode again. Simple. Okay. I'll share you some of these shortcuts. Most of these shortcuts you need to get used to by trying it and doing it. I highly recommend you guys to repeat what I'm doing today. Okay. If you don't repeat it, you'll forget everything and there is no use of this class. Okay. So it's very important that you redo these things. Otherwise, it will feel extremely useless. Because all I can do is like I'll type code, I'll explain it, but the important thing is you are supposed to do it. Okay. Let's create a series. Okay. There's something called a series that we can create. Okay. We said import pandas and we gave it an alias. Alias is basically a subname. Okay. And we said give it an alias as PD because typing pandas every time is quite long. So we just want to type PD. Okay. So we say PD. Then we can click something like tab. If we click on tab, it gives us autocomplete. Okay. There is a tab key in your keyboard. If you click on tab, it gives us autocomplete. Okay. And then we can look for series. And that's if you see series there. From your up and down arrow, you can actually select what function you want to select and you can press enter. That's one way to do it, or you have to type it full yourself. Okay. Let's create a series and call it like, okay, BMW Toyota, okay, Honda, and so on and so forth. And then we can let's try to print it. So if I do series, I created series, okay, using pandas, and I type series. I want to see what's there in series. Okay, what I need to do, I need to press Shift Enter. As I press Shift and Enter, I can see that it created a series with index 0, 1, 2 with the data BMW, Toyota, and Honda, and data type object. Okay, it's very simple. This type of data in pandas, okay, is referred to as one-dimensional data, which only has one column, okay, which only has one column. Then there are data frames, okay, which are supposedly two-dimensional, and that is what we'll be looking forward, okay, going forward from here. Okay, I named it heart disease, but we are not doing heart disease. Let's rename it. We'll do car. Yeah, we'll do the car series actually. So we had car sales. Let's do car sales. So I renamed it to car sales. Okay. Now you have to remember. Okay, there's one more thing. For example, if you want to create a markdown. Sometimes you want to have some sort of documentation around what you are doing. Understanding data frame. Okay. For example, you wrote this. Now this is a markdown language as well. Okay. Wait, what? I am typing to myself. I don't understand. Okay, this question is from myself. Maybe I did. Okay. Okay. So I just explained. Series is single dimensional, data frame is two dimensional. And basically, that's what we are doing. I am explaining pandas. Pandas is a very huge library. Okay. If I start to explain everything and every function in pandas, you can imagine we will spend one whole month doing only pandas. Okay. We can't move forward. So I'll only explain important things that you will use from this library. You just need to understand that we are using this library for data analysis. That's what this library is for. This library is for data analysis. It makes our life easier. And I'll show you important functions that we will be using a lot. Okay. Now in Jupyter, for example, if you want to have some documentation around it, what you need to do, you need to, for example, if I wrote this is Markdown language. You can learn about it, how you to write Markdown. If you don't know, it's very simple. You need to click M, okay? Sorry, you need to first press escape so that it becomes uneditable. Then you need to click M. Once you click M, okay, then this particular cell will become a markdown, okay, a markdown. Then if you press Shift Enter, you can see that you are seeing a markdown output, okay? You are seeing a markdown output. Now you can understand markdown as and when, if you need it, you can read about it. I won't be covering how to write markdown code. Okay. For example, if you remember, in our file, we had this CSVs. Let's import this one, car sales CSV. Okay. And from there, we will try to understand. From there, we'll try to understand data frame. Okay. So first, okay, let's try to create a custom data frame first, so that you get a good understanding of it. Let's just say, let's create another series, colors, and then we'll call it PD series, and then we'll say, okay, red, blue, green. Okay. Okay. And then we can print it. Okay. It's wrong spelling, colors. Okay. Okay. Shift enter. We created another one. Now, if you want to create a data frame, which is supposed to be two-dimensional, right? What you can do, you can say pd dot data frame. No, on Jupyter Notebook, you don't need print statement. Okay, at least for now. You can just write variable name and it will show you the output on the net on your notebook. But when you are doing something on terminal, you need print statement. Okay, this is Jupyter Notebook feature. Okay, so you do pd dot data frame, and now what you can do, for example, you can say car. Okay, let's say make, and make will have series. Okay, we created series, right? And then we can have color. Okay, and then we can say colors, and that's it. After this, we can show car data and see, this is a data frame. Looks beautiful. You can understand it. This is the make, this is the color, and this is a two-dimensional data. Why it is two-dimensional? Because you have x-axis, you have y-axis. Okay, that's why it's two-dimensional. Series is one-dimensional, data frame is two-dimensional. Okay, let's work with now imported file. Okay, let's import data. What you can do here, is car sales equals PD. Now PD has a function, pandas has a function, read CSV. Okay, so we want to read from CSV. Now there are two things that you can do. Okay, now there are two things that we can do. PD.read CSV. Either we can get data from, our local storage, or you can actually directly add a URL in here for that specific data set or CSV. If you have a URL, it will read from both of those sources likewise. Okay, since we have this data already, we'll just get it. Okay, we have this data already, which is this one. We'll get it. Okay, now let's try to see what sort of data do we get. Car sales. And as you see, this is a data frame. Okay, when we read from CSV, by default, it reads in data frame format. Data frame is what? X and Y axis. It gives you two-dimensional data. Hence, you are getting this on X axis 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is X axis. This is Y axis. Okay, rows and columns. Rows and columns. That's what data frame does. Okay, and this is the most amazing thing of pandas, that you can visualize a table. Okay, it makes it easier for you to understand raw data. This is what we are doing, right? This is what we are doing. Okay, now Okay. Now, that CSV file itself had a very raw sort of data. That CSV file had a very raw sort of data. Okay. And if we go in here and if we try to look at that CSV file, okay, it's a raw data. It is appearing structured because of Jupyter, okay. But when you see it in a, like when you open a text file or something, it's like very unstructured and you are sometimes not even able to understand it. Okay. All we are doing is basically reading this data. Now, this car sales data has basically data about some cars and so on and so forth. It has properties of that particular car. Okay. That's it. It has properties of that car. Yes, CSV means comma separated values. Cool. Now, assume you already have this. We extracted this, right? We read from CSV. What about if you already have some data? Assume you already have some data and you want to export that data. Okay. For example, if you remember, we had this car data, right? We had this car data. Let's try to export it. So to CSV, okay, let's try to export it. And then we also need to name it exported car data, okay? And we can give it extension as CSV, okay? And we need to set index as false, because if we don't set it false, it will have a very dirty sort of row, which will have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is sort of useless because we anyways have it. Okay. So we don't need that. And then we can click on it. Now, if I go to home, if I go to home and let me refresh this page, you will see that I have this exported car data dot CSV, right? This is how you can actually view data. Guys, in what language should I tell you guys? Don't ask me questions, especially not up until the point when I give you the time frame to ask me questions. Okay. Because I want to move fast, and if I keep on answering your questions, it will take time. Okay. So anyways, so BMW, red, so on and so forth. This is the data that we created, right? This is the data that we created. So this is how you can import this data, and you can read it in the same way. If you want, you can read it in the same way. Okay. Let's try to read it. PD dot read CSV, and then we want to read this. Okay. That's it. And then we want to show what we have. We can read it in the same way. That's it. Very simple, very straightforward. Okay. What else can we do? Let's see. Okay. What else can we do with pandas? Okay. So what else can we do? Let's try to understand attributes. So attributes car sales dot d types. Okay. If I use this command, what I should be able to get is data type of all the individual columns. Okay. So as you see, we have data types as in object, int64, int64, object, and so on and so forth. Now, if you notice, we have one, this is object, okay, I understand. This is numeric, but this is also object. So because this is not coming as numeric, obviously price is supposed to be numeric, then only we can play around it. Hence, later on, we'll see what we can do to polish it up. Okay. For now, this is like, these are the initial step actually before your data analysis. So this is what you do in data analysis. Before performing any sort of manipulation, you need to understand what that data does. Okay. And that's what you are doing here. You need to understand it. So you need to understand, okay, um, make is object data type, color is object data type, odometer is int64, doors is int64, and this is how I can play around. Okay. So these are called attributes. And then we have functions. For example, if I want to describe something, okay, I want to describe this whole stuff. This is a function. This is a function. Okay. When we are not having these braces, these are called functions. When we don't have these braces like this, these are called attributes. And when we have these braces, these are called functions on pandas. Okay. Again, let's press Shift Enter. And boom, it describes some XYZ values, obviously. Okay. So it says, okay, odometer count is this, mean is this, standard deviation is this, mean is this, some statistical values. I won't teach you statistics. You can read it about it yourself. Okay. This class doesn't cover it, but this is what it is. Okay. Cool. Now, for example, let's see another attribute. If you want to get index there, so we have basically it says it starts from 0. It goes up until 10 element, and step is 1. If you remember, we have done this a lot in our Python session. Talked about step over and so on and so forth. That's what it is telling. Okay. Okay. There are more ones where you can get much more info about this data set. For example, if you want to get information on this data set, you can type car sales.info, and with info functions, you will get, okay, what sort of data set we are having. Okay, we have make, we have color, odometer, non-null, 64, doors, non-null. Okay. Or there is basically nothing is like null in this whole data frame, and cool, we are good with it. It is using this much of memory. In 64, 2 columns are of this data type, 3 columns are of object data type, and so on and so forth. Okay. 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 Guys, you guys are asking very obvious questions, and obvious questions have very obvious answers. For example, why describe shows only integer data? You need to talk to the developer of pandas library, because that's how they designed this library, that they describe only numerical columns. That's it. That's the answer. These are obvious answers. That's why it's all like do and see. You need to run the command to see how it works. You need to run the command to see how it works. That's why I'm saying it's important that you just don't watch it. You need to run it yourself. Okay. After this class is over. Okay. Then someone asked, can we use Kaggle instead of Jupyter? It is very nonsensical question, because I'm not taking a Kaggle class. And obviously, this question could have been asked after the end of the class. That's what I'm saying. Don't waste my time. But yes, you can use Kaggle instead of Jupyter. If you are super intelligent and you like Kaggle, go do it. Don't ask me questions on Kaggle. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Sir, what if the CSV file doesn't store in local storage? I already answered this. Watch this class carefully. I said that you can use URL. Okay. You need to use URL. You can import it from URL as well. Okay. If you are getting unnamed 0, what can I do? I don't know why you are getting unnamed 0 and from where you are getting unnamed 0. If you are getting unnamed 0 somewhere here, okay, somewhere here, okay, that means you need to set index to false. Okay. Now, no, I can't show above code once more. Anyways, I'll be moving forward. I'll share all this. I'll share Jupyter Notebook as well. I'll share you with all these data type as well. And I want you guys to do all of these functions, write yourself and practice yourself again to understand how it works. Okay? Because I want to move with speed. I want to complete pandas today. And I'll only show limited functions which are used a lot. There is so much in the pandas library, and it's highly impossible for me to cover everything. That's why you guys need to learn how to use Google, how to make use of ChatGPT, how to make use of Stack Overflow, and so on and so forth, all these resources to understand how you can perform certain things. Okay, because there might be some different use case that you are performing and you don't know how to do it. That is why you have all these different sort of areas where you can search for those answers. Okay. So let's move forward. Car says, let's try to take on mean. Now we can calculate mean only on numeric values. We have three object data type of column. Hence, okay, hence we need to explicitly say that set numeric value to true. Okay. And if you see, we had odometer, kilometer as numeric value, right? These are the two columns that we have as numeric value. So we say calculate mean where numeric value is true. So it gives us mean of that. Okay. I hope you know what is mean. If not, I can't help it. Search on Google how you take how you actually calculate mean, median, standard deviation, and so on. It's basically primary school maths. Okay. For example, if I want to calculate sum, I can do something like this, and boom, it gives sum. Now, if you will observe, it is giving sum like joining all of these because it assumes everything else is a string and these two are numeric values. Hence, it has numeric sum and all of the others are just joined. We have seen this pattern when we were learning Python. Okay. Right? If you want to actually calculate sum of a very specific column itself, for example, if you want to calculate sum of only doors, so there are two ways. One, either you can do with dot notation. I personally don't recommend it because it is error prone, especially when you have spaces. For example, if you have something like odometer, okay, this is what we are having, right? And a space, this won't work with dot notation directly. You need to have this in this format. So try to use this because this is less error prone. Okay. And what you can do, you can calculate sum like this, and it will give me sum of only that specific column. Cool, works. If you want to see, okay, how big is this particular data set to actually, before we start working on it, you can just type len and then see car sales. Okay, you need to see, okay, there is 10. So it's basically pretty huge. You need to basically figure out, okay, how this works. Now, if you want to get top 5 of data set, okay, then you can say head, okay, and it will give you top 5 like this. If you want to get bottom 5, then you can say car says dot tails. It gives bottom 5. So, what did I do? Oh, sorry, not tails. It's tail. Okay. Right. Now, if you want to explicitly set like how much you want, okay, for example, from reverse, if you want only 3 items, so let's just say car says dot tail, and then you pass 3, and then it will give only 3 items from reverse, right? And that is the same for head. Okay. Now, okay, let's create a series. So if we are creating a series, I showed this is how we create a series, pd.series, right? And we are doing something like this, cat, dog, and we are doing snake. Okay, like this. And we are using index 1, 1, 3. Okay. If we don't give index, okay, let's try this. Let's try this. Oops, I also need to print it, right? Okay, let's go back here. Okay. If I don't give index, then it's like it gives us sequential index. Okay. But I don't want it to have sequential index. I want it to have weird index. So let's have index as such 1, 1, 3. Okay. And let's see. And we get 1 cat, 1 dog, and 3 has a snake. Right. Now, if you want to get items, okay, which are present in index 1. So what we can do is we can say, give me items which is present in index 1. Okay. This refers to index. Important. Okay. So in index 1, we have cat and dog, right? But if we say, give me animals, iLock refers to position. Okay. This refers to position. This refers to position. Okay. If we run this, then we get what is in the first position, basically in the position 1. Basically, the name can be confusing in here because up until now, when I was talking about list, I was saying, okay, this is every index starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? In here, when I'm saying position, it just means the index of an array, right? Which is like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. But position is much more apt because we assign explicit index in pandas, right? That's why position is much more apt. Hence, it is taking it from 0. Okay. So 0 is cat, 1 is dog, and 2 is snake, right? And since we tried to get 1, okay, we got what? We got dog, which is at second position after cat. Okay. Again, understand it. Position is 0, 1, 2. Index is 1, 1, 3. Position is 0, 1, 2. Index is 1, 1, 3. Clear? Okay. Now, we can also do something like this. Okay, we were doing very similar sort of stuffs. Okay, this is not defined animals. Yeah, we were doing similar stuffs also in list, right? We can have a slice of that particular list, or basically in here, series. Okay. What else can we do? What else can we do? What else can we do? Okay. For example, let's just say, can we get something from location car sales, and then we want to get only 3. Okay. And let's run it. Okay. We get 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Because, okay, in here, index is sequential 0, 1, 2, 3. It is sequential, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3. That's what we got. Right. You can see in here in all of these data 0, 1, 2, 3. Right. So that's what we are getting. Index is sequential here. In here, index was not sequential. So you need to understand that. Okay. What else can you do in here? For example, you can play around with car sales data as such. If you want to get car sales data and you want to get specifically odometer KM, okay, do note that it has to be case sensitive. Okay, it is case sensitive. And then this car sales data is basically odometer kilometer is greater than 100,000. Show me only those values. Boom. So for these two cars, Toyota and Nissan, odometer kilometer is basically over 100,000 kilometer. Okay. So you can basically perform logical operations to actually extract more and more data. You can play around with it a lot. Now, okay, sometimes you want to make some cross comparisons with two specific columns. So how you can do it? There is a function that is provided by pandas. It is called cross tab. Okay. What you can do with cross tab? For example, you have car sales. Okay. Car sales has a column called as make, right? And then you have car sales. And then it has a column called as doors. Okay. And then car sales. Okay. I'm missing a double comment. Okay. So you want to actually get a X and Y comparison between these two columns. So you can use this command cross tab, pass column 1, pass column 2. Boom. Okay. What do you get? Doors 3, 4, 5. And then it gives you this list. Okay. Make BMW, Honda, Nissan, Toyota. And what it is telling here. Okay. So it is saying BMW, okay, has one car which has 5 doors. Honda has 3 cars which has 4 doors. Nissan has 2 cars which has 4 doors. Toyota has 1 car which has 3 doors, and Toyota has 3 cars which has 4 doors. That's what it is giving. Okay. So you can do some analysis as such. Okay. Now, how else you can group? For example, if you want to group multiple columns, okay, not just like 2, how you can group them? So you can use something called as group by. Okay, you can use something called as group by. So for example, you use car sales, okay, and then car sales dot group by, and you say make, right? Make, and okay, you are grouping by make, right? And you are taking a mean. Now, mean you can calculate of 2 specific columns, right? And you are taking a mean. You need to specify that you only want to take out mean of numeric values only, or else it will throw an error. Okay. And let's see. Okay. So what it does. Now it has grouped by, okay, taking make as a reference, and it gives you mean of these 2 columns. So it says, okay, for BMW odometer, mean is this. Okay, door is 5. For Honda, mean is this. Obviously, this is not an ideal example, but you can basically play around it. Okay, that's how you can play around it. So what else can you do? For example, if you want to have something like odometer AM, AM dot plot. Boom. You can see a plot. Now beneath it, it is using matplotlib. Okay. Beneath it, it is using matplotlib. And what it is doing, it is basically plotting a graph based on the data that we have. Okay. So for index 0, we have this much kilometer. For index 2, we have this much kilometer, and so on and so forth. this is how it is plotting. So we can have different types of plot. Okay, that's just one type. Assume we want to have a histogram. Okay, if we want to print a histogram, we can do something like this. Similarly, we can have bar graph and so on and so forth. So this is histogram, right? Why do we use histogram? We use a histogram to understand distribution of data. To understand distribution of data. Okay. Now, if you remember, we had this price, right? We had this price that we want to actually convert it to integer type. How can we do that? So car sales, okay. Let's first try to get car sales, okay, price, right? So we want to convert it to integer type. Let's try to do car sales. This is what we can do. Then we want to get price, right? Price. Then what can we do? Dot, dot, dot. Sorry. Yes, dot. Replace. And we replace /d. Okay. And then we say regex is equals true. Okay. And we say as type int. Let's see if this works. I'm not sure if it will work. I'm honestly not sure. So let's see if it works. It didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't work. Okay. Let's try something else because it didn't work. Uh, uh, okay. Okay. .str. Will this work? No, it didn't work. Okay, it didn't work. So let's go longer route. I wanted to have some shorthand, but apparently seems like it's not possible. So let's remove dollar. Obviously, we want to remove dollar, right? And then we can actually then replace dollar. And we can then have this /dollar and a pipe sign. I don't understand this stuff. Honestly, I have Googled it. Okay. So I also have to Google it. This is why you also need to Google it. Okay. And because I still haven't learned. I understand the regex to some extent, but I don't understand it fully yet because you have to mug it up. But you are escaping some certain characters and stuff. That's what you are doing. So I'm escaping dot, I'm escaping $sign, and I want to escape comma. So this is what I want to do. Okay. Then I want to replace it with this, right? And I want to say regex is, I want to say regex is false because we are just replacing here. Okay. And let's see if it works. Okay, guys. Finally, I think I'll have to copy paste this. So let's see if it works. Cool, that one. So what I'm doing in here, I'll tell you, and this is all Google stuff. I already had this, but I wanted a shorter one. Okay. Okay, regex true. Yeah, if it works, it works. If regex true works, Hitesh, well and good. I don't know if that works. So this one was working. I already checked it. Okay. First, I'm replacing dollar with basically empty space. Regex false, str replace again. Then I'm replacing comma. These are the two things that we have. S type float. Technically, this is not needed. Okay, this is needed because this is mentioned it in float type and then as int. And then it should actually give you the new data type, but without all that dollar sign. Okay. So I got this from Stack Overflow myself, not lying. Okay. So I'm not so super intelligent. I got this from Stack Overflow. Boom. Cool. So as you see, this is cleaned up. And now even price is a numeric value, right? So let's just say car sales dot mean numeric only equals true, right? Who is this? I want to understand who is this because I see my name itself in here. Okay. This is a bit complicated, guys. Okay. This is a bit complicated. So I'll tell you straightforward. I Googled it. There are certain parts you need to Google. What we are doing is we are replacing string. Okay. There is a inbuilt function. There is an inbuilt function in Python called as replace, and you can replace that string directly, okay, with the appropriate string. I believe I showed it when we were learning Python, okay. So, for example, in the firstly you see we have dollar sign. So firstly, I'm replacing dollar sign with empty space. So no space and nothing. So it removes this dollar sign completely. Okay, followed by then I replace comma, okay, which is here. So I replace comma completely. Now I'm not replacing dot or something. What I'm doing is I'm converting and typecasting because now this string is in a format where I can directly typecast it into a float type. So I'm typecasting it into a float type and followed by I'm typecasting it into integer type. Most of this we have covered it in our Python course. And since now we have numeric value, we can take out mean in here. Okay, I hope you guys understood now. So like I said, I have basically Googled it. Just like that, you will have to actually search a lot of these answers. Some might work, some might not work. You have to experiment out and try to, but whenever you copy something, you need to understand it. For example, just now when I copied it, I understood it, okay, what it is doing. So you need to understand what you are copying. Without understanding, just blindly copying doesn't help anyone. Don't be a copy programmer. Okay. Okay. So cool. At least the basics we have covered to quite an extent. Okay, we have covered basics to quite an extent. So let's start by manipulating data. Okay. So assume I want to make everything which is in car sales make column. Okay. Everything that is in make column into lowercase. So what I can do, I can reassign it. Okay. And say make dot str dot lower. Okay. And press enter. Oops. And then I need to also see, right? And if you see now, our data frame is updated and this whole column is now lowercase. This whole column is now lowercase, right? Okay. I remember we had another data set, right? I imported, yeah, missing one. So we had this one. where we have certain missing data. So let's try to play around with this one. Okay, let's try to play around with this one. Let's import it. So how do we import it? Car missing, blah, 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 blah. Car sales missing. Okay, and pd.read CSV, and then I'll get car sales missing, right? This. And I can say car sales missing there. And as you see, for all the missing ones, I can see NaN, which is basically non-existent. It is not there. It's absent, and so on. Okay. So there are so many missing values in there. It is evident. Now we need to try to play around with it. Okay. And look out how we can actually work with this particular data set. Okay. So first, let's try to get mean of odometer. Okay. So odometer mean, let's try to store it. Exactly. NaN is not a number. Okay. If NaN is not a number, then why answer me this? NaN here make NaN. What is this? I really want to understand. Guys, this guy who just wrote NaN equals not a number, is he having my username and why? I want to understand. Okay. Or you guys just replicated my username to basically troll me. Okay. The guy is trolling me hard. If it is not a number, then answer me why NaN is in this column where basically we have a string. Now answer me that. Though you are right, but why? Answer me, answer me, answer me. Actually, it is not a number, but basically all it does, it represents absence of value. That's it. Okay. In here, it is absence of value. Okay. That's it. So don't be ever confused because it means not a number. Okay. It is just basically absence of value. Okay. Okay then. Car sales missing, and we want to calculate mean. So odometer. Okay. And then remember, we have only odometer. Now we don't have their kilometer and so on. And let's try to calculate mean. What do we get? Oh, we got some mean. Okay, let's see what is the mean. Plus, I used such a bad variable name. Bad. This is bad. This is bad. This is bad. Mean. Odometer. Mean. Okay. So we got some mean, right? But this is obviously NaN is there and we don't know how it's acting. So we need to fill it. So let's try to fill that NaNs, okay, in odometer column. So what we can do, we are now in manipulation process. Okay, we are basically refining our data set. Car sales missing. We have odometer. Okay. Now what we need to do, we say fill NA. Okay, fill NANs and so on and so forth. And we need to fill NA. Okay, we are now filling NA. We are filling NA because we don't know. Okay, we don't know the value. So what we'll do, we'll assume that it has some mean value. Okay, because mean value is basically some sort of average. So we'll just replace it with mean value. That is why we stored it in a variable. So what we do, okay, we'll type something like this. So what we are doing, replacing it with mean values, right? So we have replaced all the NaNs with mean values. Cool. Okay. Now what? Now let's see what happens when we do something like car sale missing, car sales missing, and we have odometer. Okay, and we are doing fill NA. Okay, let's try to do the same thing actually, but in place. True. Because we replaced it with mean. Because we replaced it with mean. That's why we got it. We replaced it with mean. Ah, okay. In the latest version, this is gone actually. In place is not there. That's what it's saying. Sorry. Okay. This does not work in the latest version. Okay. Okay. Yeah. It at 6:30, you are saying what is today's topic? Nice, man. Claps. Claps, claps, claps. Super intelligent. Super intelligent. Okay. Okay. So now what we want to do? Now what we want to do? Okay. What we want to do is we want to we want to update our original we want to update our original data frame. Okay. We want to update our original data frame. Hence, we will do this. Okay. And we have updated our original data frame because we wanted to fill in the missing values that we just replaced with mean values. Okay. Oh, boom. Now in odometer section, we don't have an AN, right? Because we updated it. Now, car sales. Okay. Drop NA. let's see what this does. Okay, let's see what this does. So what this does, drop NA does, is it basically drops every row, okay, that has NaN. Okay, basically which does not have any value. It will just drop that. Okay, it will just drop that. So let's just store this in this particular variable, okay, which we have created, car sales missing drop. It has all these drop values. Okay, so this is comparing, and we can export it if we want. Okay, this is like, assume this is the shortest way we have cleaned up this data. We can actually export it if we want. And what was the method to export it? Car sales underscores missing underscore dropped dot to underscore CSV. Boom. Okay, and we can name it car sales missing dot CSV. Now, if we go and check somewhere here, where was that? In our home, let's refresh it. You will be able to see export missing data. Oh, wait, what did we name it? Wait, what? I forgot what. Car sales missing. Oh, shit. I overwrote it. Damn. We needed that actually. Uh, okay. Anyways, it's fine. Even if we basically replaced our missing CSV, I'll just rename it, and when I shared this with you guys, I'll uh, I'll actually update it. Okay. Okay. Now we basically replaced all the NaNs. We basically replaced the data where NaN was present. So all we are doing again right now, cleaning data. Okay. So let's try to create another series. Okay. Um, Series, and let's have this 5, something like this. Okay. Actually, yes, we can recover. Yeah, you guys are becoming intelligent. I like it. Okay, we can. I forgot because we already have car sales CSV in our memory. So let's see if we are able to recover it. Car sales missing. Yes, we can recover it. Car sales missing dot two underscore CSV. Okay, yes. Then we do car sales missing dot CSV. Right. Boom. And we have it finally. Anyways, cool. So we created seats column series. Okay, we created this series. Now, car sales, and we have seats. Okay, equals seats underscore column, right? We have seats underscore column, which basically we defined earlier, right? We defined it here. seats column, PD series with 5, right? That's what we did. And now we are creating a new column. Okay. Okay. I don't know what Endukalaela means. Okay. And now what you will see when you run car sales, we have seats, but it is printed only on the top 5 because obviously we provided only 5, but we don't have the rest of the 5. Obviously, right? I don't know Telugu. I already said it in the first class, guys. Please don't waste time. Okay. If I knew Telugu, I would love to speak in Telugu, but I don't, sadly. Okay. Though I watch Allu Arjun's movie, I like him, but I can't speak. Okay. Now, for example, I want to add more one more column to it. So I can do something like this. I'm adding fuel economy. It's another column. Just add it. Let's see car sales. Okay. Um, and I'll say car sales seats. I'll say car sale seats dot fill NA, which we have already seen, and I want to fill NA by 5, right? And let's print it. Oh, yeah. And let's try to get car sales. Okay, we didn't update it, so we also need to update seats like without, right? We already did, right? With this command, we are filling NAs. Okay, that's the default value. That is the default value. All we have to do is now we actually need to explicitly assign it. Then only it will consider it assigned. Now, if we try to get car sales, there. Okay. What else can we do? We can actually perform certain I'll just run through it now because time is less. I'll just run through it now and complete manipulation section. Okay. So, for example, we can do something like this. Okay. Uh, if we want to perform some calculations and create another column, okay, we want to create like total fuel used in liters, right? And we want to get total fuel used in general per 100 kilometers and so on. This is the formula. Just give me these tables. This is what we are storing. This is the column name. Okay, we can get it. Or we want to get, okay, what's the number of wheels and so on and so forth. Okay, did we pass road safety test and so on and so forth. We can add these columns. And what we can do is, let's just say, let's print car sales and see how it looks like now. Okay. So if you see there, boom, number of wheels 4. Basically, by default, it will assign everything 4. If you give it true, by default, every value is true. Or else you need to give it and pass an array like this. Okay, a list. If you're not passing it a list, and if you're just giving it a value, then it will assume the default value for every row is 4 or true or whatever you have passed. So you see like how much we have extended it. This is sort of manipulation that we can do. Now assume right now we have these both columns as duplicate, right? And if we want to delete it, okay? So what you can do, there is a method that we can use, car sales dot drop. Okay, drop is the method that we can use. And what we can do, drop, okay? We can say total fuel used, okay? And you also need to define axis, okay? And we will say it equals to 1, okay? And then let's try to print car sales. Okay. Yeah, nothing happened because we need to store this. Damn. So car sales equals, right? There, gone, right? You can experiment with axis. That's your task. Experiment with axis. You'll know how axis works differently when you give different axes. Okay. One basically deletes that whole column. Now we don't have duplicate column. Okay. That's how you draw. For example, if you want to shuffle, get some sample data, because we talked when I was giving introduction of machine learning, I told you guys we need to separate our data set into smaller chunks and we need to work with it. So for example, if you only want to work with 20% of that data, what you can do, you can say, get me sample of car sales and give me 20%, 0.2 is fraction, okay? Give me 20%, not 30, sorry. 20% of the total data. Okay. Give me 20% of the total data. And then if we press enter, boom, we got a sample data. This is what we can work on, right? Assume, let's just say we have this car sales shuffled equals, dot reset. If you want to reset index column to original value, okay, because we have 5, 4 and so on and so forth, we don't want, and we want proper indexing. And let's say drop equals true. Okay, let's see what we get. Boom, 0, 1. So it drops whatever this is and it resets everything, and now we have proper indexing. 0, 1. Okay, let's see what we get if we don't pass in drop true. Okay, we don't pass in drop true. Boom, we have this index 5, 4, so on and so forth. So we don't need this excess column, right? That is why we are doing this drop true. That is why we are doing this drop true. Okay. Okay. Now, final function. Final function. Assume you want to apply lambda. I explained you about lambda in the last class. Okay. Right. We want to apply this lambda. X is basically the parameter that this lambda takes, and it divides by 1.6 to every value, okay, in the car sales. Okay. And let's see what we get. If we try to get car sales, boom, odometer is divided. That is why you are seeing this 0.875 and so on and so forth, right? Because we divided every value in the odometer by 1.6. So you can apply lambdas as well, right? So this is how you can manipulate data set with pandas. Now, pandas is over. It's complete. Next class, we will study NumPy. If you have any questions up until now, you can ask me. I'll be sharing most of the notes. Don't ask me nonsensical questions. Sir, will you share notes? Yes, I'll share this, what I have. I'll also share some basic notes. What I'll not share, you are supposed to Google it. Just assume that you are supposed to Google it. Okay? Do all of this, practice all of this at home. If you don't practice it, it's all useless. Okay? If you don't practice it, it's all useless. I'll try to cover NumPy next class. And then from there on, I think I'll go with matplotlib. I'll also try to cover matplotlib as well in the next class. And after that, we'll start scikit-learn. I can't help if you don't have laptop, Jaggu. It's your problem, not my problem. Okay. Regex means regular expression. You can read about regular expressions. Where am I? I am in Chhattisgarh. You need to come to Chhattisgarh for offline class. I don't get paid for basically singing, so I won't. I'm not responsible for taking your attendance. If you have some questions regarding what I taught, ask me questions. I am here to answer all your questions now. My name is Atharv. You basically the troll who has copied my name. You can see the name there. Okay. Someone said you're rushing to complete classes, but it was not understandable without knowing the basics. Please tell clearly up to the class. So the point is, one, in my first 2 weeks, I went very slow, especially teaching you Python. The reason was because I wanted you guys to get adopted with syntax. Obviously, I increased the speed a little, starting pandas, but there is no logic involved in here. There is nothing, no logic. There is zero logic right now. Whatever I have taught today, it consists of zero logic. Okay. The only thing that we are doing today is using keywords and trying to get output. Using keyword, trying to get output. Using keyword, trying to get output. That's what we are doing. Okay. Pandas is just for data analysis. That's it. That is what pandas is for. Okay, there is no rocket science in here. It's a library, and we have only covered most useful functions. It's highly impossible for anyone to cover everything in Pandas library. Okay. So it's not just me, irrespective of anyone comes in place of me, it's practically impossible for him to cover Pandas. Like in like 3 or 4 sessions, it's highly impossible. That's why I'm saying you need to practice this at home. If you don't, you will not understand anything, because just me coding will not make you understand anything. You need to practice this. What I'm saying is, like, I'm typing and showing it to you for you guys to understand and get the grasp of things. Okay, this is how you will use Jupyter and so on and so forth. So that's the main intention here. Trying to get familiar with some of these. Also, in one day, you won't remember anything. You'll forget everything. So practice it. And if I go slower than this, possibly I'll miss a lot of topics. That's 100% guaranteed. Forget deep learning, we won't even finish machine learning. I will give, I don't know what assignment you are talking about. Okay. I'll give assignment related to pandas today, but I don't know which assignment you are talking about right now. I'll give one assignment for practice, but this whole Jupyter notebook also I'll be sending you guys that I have coded right now. Okay. And I hope that you guys actually practice it. First of all, don't direct message. I can understand you can actually do a community message. I I am not sure how many of you are not able to understand of this whole class. Plus, I am not able to understand how many of you are able to understand. So there is no quantifiable data. Plus, what you didn't understand? You have to be explicit. If you say I didn't understand anything, from where? Okay, you need to tell me explicitly what you didn't understand. If you say that yeah, I didn't understand X or Y, then I can resolve it. But if you just give me a very vague and very broad answer, I can't resolve it. And I'm thinking from your perspective itself, if I start dragging on pandas, like I'm saying, or NumPy, one specific library, trust me, it will take at least 4 or 5 sessions. I have covered the most useful stuff. I make you understand the Jupyter. If I extend this, basically, you won't be able to cover machine learning itself. Okay. For understanding pandas, Jeevan, the best resource is pandas documentation. Okay. The library documentation. Always practice in your Jupyter notebook. I already explained you how you are supposed to set up Jupyter notebook. Okay. Practice in your Jupyter notebook. That's how you are supposed to do it. Refer your pandas documentation. Try to do it more and more. Black is removing you from direct community message because you have copied my name. Don't troll next time. Then he will have you in there. Okay. You need notes on keywords, methods, and libraries. And that's what I said. You need to go on pandas documentation. Let me link to you. Okay. It's simple. Google as well. I can Google it for you. I don't mind. Okay. So if you actually go into this official documentation, you can learn a lot. There's whole developer guide full of like it has a lot of resource. It will take you decades to actually cover everything. Okay, but you can, this is why I'm saying you need to cover things that are useful to you then and there. Okay. If you start looking at it, it's really overwhelming. The API reference is like huge. So you need to basically tap into things that you will use. That's why I said it will become very essential that you need to Google, or else it is completely useless. So I'll share it with Blackbucks. I don't know where they'll share it with you. Maybe I believe it will be on TapTap or something. At least scikit-learn, up until scikit-learn, I will try to assign you guys a project, okay, that you should be able to complete using scikit-learn. Deep learning, it is subjective. So because I am going very slow compared to what I'm supposed to, okay, um, I'll see how fast or slow I can cover. If I have time, I'll try to cover and have a project also on deep learning. If I'm not able to, then there will be no project on deep learning, but I'll give you an overview of deep learning and how you are supposed to do it. So it completely depends on the time frame that we have. If we have more time, I'll try to have project over there as well. If we don't have that much time, we won't have a project there. Boring class, I can't help it. I can't dance for you. Depends, Avinash. I have actually asked for it, but it is subjective. I can't promise it. Uh, I want to take more classes so that I can go slow, to be honest. But yeah, depends. Manoj, you can use whatever you want to use, but I won't be able to help you. I'm only covering Jupyter. Okay. What movies you watched of Allu Arjun? Man, so many. Obviously, Pushpa everyone has watched, but I also watched Gangotri and all, like even in Telugu dubs with subtitles. Arya 2, Happy, Race Gurram. I have watched many, man. Ram Charan, I have watched Orange, and then Magadhira, RRR. Yes, I watched it. Yes, I know Hindi. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Babu Sexy. I don't know that. Movies of Mahesh Babu. Yeah, that I don't know the exact names, but that this popular one, the family drama, this where like Venkatesh is also with him. Then I have watched Businessman of Mahesh Babu. There's this song Sarostara. That's one. That one. I've watched many Mahesh Babu movies, but I don't remember name. Yeah, I have watched I Smart Shankar. I've watched animes, man. A lot of animes as well. I've watched a lot of Prabhas movies. Darling. Excited about Kalki? No, man, I don't get time to watch a lot of movies, but when I get time, I watch movies on Netflix. So I'm not excited about anything. I watched Mr. Perfect. Pawan Kalyan, I watched Gabbar Singh. I even Pawan Kalyan, I watched 10 or 12 movies, man. NTR movies, I've watched a lot. I don't remember exact names, but like Dammu or something, I know it. But there's so many movies I've watched of NTR, I don't remember the name. I watch anime. One Piece. One Piece is the only anime I don't watch. I watched Avengers. I don't watch cricket. Sorry, cricket is not my stuff, man. I watched this Demon Slayer. I watched One Punch Man. I've been watching My Hero Academia. I don't use anything. Uh, I didn't watch Suzume. Okay. I watched Hunter x Hunter. Yes, you can use Jupyter Online Compiler if that is what you are comfortable with. However, I'll recommend you to actually use something locally because you want to learn, right? You are in this whole process for learning. You are not in this process for basically getting easy way out. Okay. Okay, guys, I'll end this class now.